Israel has become the first country to formally recognize Somaliland as an independent and sovereign country. Celebrations erupted in what Somaliland calls its capital, Hargeisa. Here, the Israeli flag was projected onto a building to mark the recognition. So, why is this move by Israel a significant diplomatic one? Let's connect the dots. Here's Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signing the declaration for Israel. Somaliland's President Abdi Rahman Mohammed Abdullahi signed the declaration too.
Mr. President.
Mr. Prime Minister.
It's good to talk to you, and before anything else, I want you to know that I'm signing now, as we speak, Israel's official recognition of Somaliland and its right of self-determination. Our friendship is seminal and historic. So I'm very, very happy and I'm very proud of this day, and I want to wish you and the people of Somaliland the very, very best there.
Somaliland welcomed Israel's decision.
I am the happiest person in the world today. The historic address on the recognition of the Republic of Somaliland. Excellencies, all world leaders, distinguished delegates, partners, all Somalilanders. Today, I address you at a moment of historic significance for the Republic of Somaliland. After more than 3 decades of peaceful self-governance, constitutional order, and democratic practice, Somaliland has received its first formal international recognition as a sovereign and independent state. This development affirms an objective reality that has long existed. Somaliland meets the legal, political, and institutional criteria of statehood under international law.
Let's first see where is Somaliland, what's its history, and why it claims sovereignty. Somaliland was a British colony called British Somaliland. In 1960, it became independent. During the 5 days that it was independent, it was recognized by Israel and 34 other countries. Then it united with Somalia. Somaliland formally broke away in 1991 as Somalia disintegrated into anarchy. Somaliland is located in Africa, specifically in the Horn of Africa region. It sits on the continent's eastern edge along the Gulf of Aden, bordered by Djibouti to the west and Ethiopia to the south. It calls Hargeisa its capital city. Somaliland's 850-kilometer coastline guards key shipping routes like Bab el-Mandeb Strait. These are vital for global trade and energy shipments. Somaliland has effectively acted as an independent country during Somalia's decades-long and ongoing civil war. In many respects, it is a more stable and functioning state than Somalia itself, as it has its own currency, security forces, and a history of peaceful and democratic transitions of power. Somaliland has a majority population of Sunni Muslims. For decades, Somaliland pushed for international recognition. This was the key priority for Abdullahi since he took office in 2024. Its lack of international recognition has hampered access to foreign loans, aid and investment, and the region remains deeply impoverished. So Somaliland is a self-declared independent republic in the Horn of Africa and has been operating as a de facto state since 1991, despite lacking formal international recognition. Israel says the recognition is in the spirit of the Abraham Accords. Remember, the 2020 Accords were brokered by US President Donald Trump's first administration and included Israel formalizing diplomatic relations with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, with other countries joining later.
I think this will be a great opportunity for expanding our partnership. We intend to work together with you on economic fields, on agriculture, in the fields of social development, all the things that we hope we can assist you, and we obviously believe in this friendship. And I have to tell you that there's a lot of excitement here in Israel as well. So I want to use this opportunity, sir, to invite you to an official visit to Israel at your convenience. And I hope very much to see you here soon. This is a wonderful day. It's a historic day. And of course, I'll communicate to President Trump your willingness and desire to join the Abraham Accords. So thank you, Mr. President.
Abdullahi said in a statement that Somaliland would join the Abraham Accords, calling it a step toward regional and global peace. He said Somaliland was committed to building partnerships, boosting mutual prosperity and promoting stability across the Middle East and Africa. But Somalia's government condemned Israel's move as an unlawful step and a deliberate attack on its sovereignty. It calls Somaliland region an integral part of the sovereign territory of the Federal Republic of Somalia under international law and African Union principles against border changes. It sees it as its northern region and calls any recognition of Somaliland as null, void, and without any legal or political effect under international law. It says that matters relating to Somalia's unity remain the exclusive prerogative of the Somali people, to be resolved solely through lawful, constitutional, and peaceful means. So, how do the people of Somalia view Israel's decision? Here are some voices from Somalia's capital, Mogadishu.
For Somaliland to be recognized is a great wound to us, and we do not accept it and will not accept it. Somalia belongs to itself. There is no such thing as something called Somaliland.
This signifies that the conflict in the Middle East is now being imported into Somalia and the Horn of Africa, and this is something we cannot tolerate. It is a significant and impactful move that influences everything in various aspects.
Somalia's stand is supported by the African Union and IGAD. These are regional bodies that reject border changes and affirm Somalia's sovereignty. European Union too is urging respect for Somalia's borders after Israel's recognition. Jordan, Egypt, Algeria, Comoros, Djibouti, Gambia, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Maldives, Nigeria, Oman, Pakistan, Turkey, Yemen, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Kuwait and Qatar too reject Israel's recognition of Somaliland. The United States also supports and reaffirms Somalia's territorial unity, including Somaliland. Hours after Israel's decision, Trump said this in a New York Post interview on 26 December 2025. Trump said no when asked if the US would recognize Somaliland. He asked, "Does anyone really know what Somaliland is?" Reports suggest that earlier in August 2025, Trump had indicated an openness to a review, but Israel's action prompted his rejection amid a global backlash. So even though some US figures like Republican Senator Ted Cruz urge recognition, the Trump administration holds back. So what does Israel's recognition of Somaliland even mean without US support? Without US support, the recognition lacks clout for UN membership or AU entry. And so, Israel's recognition stays mostly symbolic for global legitimacy. Now let's see how Israel stands to gain from this decision. Israel could get a strategic foothold in the region as it gets proximity to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and Red Sea via Somaliland's Berbera port and long airstrip. This is key for countering Houthi threats backed by Iran and securing shipping routes. This bolsters intelligence, anti-terrorism, and anti-piracy efforts in the Horn of Africa. In terms of economic gains, Somaliland has valuable lithium and other minerals underground. Israel wants them for making phones, computers, and batteries in its tech factories. Reports in March 2025 cited unconfirmed US-Israeli talks aimed at exploring Somaliland, Somalia, and Sudan for voluntary Palestinian relocation. But Somalian and Somaliland officials later denied receiving any such proposal. So no credible evidence supports claims that Israel's recognition of Somaliland stems from plans to resettle Gazans there. So how does Somaliland stand to gain from this recognition? Israel can help Somaliland get more water and use new ideas to dig out and sell minerals. Israeli expertise in agriculture, health, technology, and water management can help develop Somaliland's resources like lithium, livestock, and ports, attracting investments and jobs. Technological and agricultural products can give both sides immediate gains. Both have a shared history as both endured genocidal campaigns, Somaliland under Siad Barre and Israel historically. This has fostered a bond of democracies built from ruins. Most importantly, Somaliland hopes to gain some legitimacy from Israel's recognition. Israel is now the first UN member country to say Somaliland is independent since 1991. Israel and Somaliland plan to open embassies and send ambassadors to each other. The recognition also helps Somaliland join the Abraham Accords. All in all, the recognition makes Somaliland look more real to the world and might convince others like Ethiopia to agree too. It helps Somaliland get noticed and opens the doors to global diplomacy, bringing money, loans, and business deals. So to sum it up, Israel's recognition of Somaliland has sparked a debate on regional borders and partnerships, with outcomes still unfolding. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, has been grappling with violent extremism for over a decade. But last week, the country made global headlines. The United States launched powerful precision strikes targeting Islamic State-linked camps in Sokoto state in northwestern Nigeria. These strikes were carried out using Tomahawk missiles from maritime platforms in the Gulf of Guinea. And according to the US Africa Command, the operation was conducted jointly with the Nigerian government after weeks of intelligence and surveillance. Washington said that the terrorists targeted were ISIS-affiliated jihadists who had infiltrated Nigeria from the Sahel using forested hideouts as operational bases for future attacks. Notably, the strikes deployed 16 GPS-guided munitions using MQ-9 Reaper drones, marking a rare US-Nigeria joint counter-terror mission. But why did the US intervene now? President Donald Trump announced the strikes through his Truth Social post. He claimed they were responding to attacks on Christian communities in the region. Trump also warned that these were numerous perfect strikes and suggested more could follow. In an earlier post, he had even cautioned Nigeria to stop the killing of Christians or face US action, guns a-blazing. And now Washington has acted. To understand the importance of this strike, we must look at the group it targeted. The US targeted segments of the Islamic State Sahel province, known shortly as ISSP and more locally as Lakurawa. ISSP is the branch of the Islamic State operating across Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and increasingly Nigeria. Over the past year, the organization has expanded rapidly, growing in manpower and territory. In 2025, ISSP carried out a record number of large-scale attacks across the Sahel. They moved freely across porous borders and pushed further south. But in Nigeria specifically, a new threat has been emerging, and that is Lakurawa. Lakurawa is a local armed faction that recently pledged allegiance to ISSP. Although smaller, with roughly 200 fighters, it has become a critical bridge for ISIS influence inside Nigeria, helping the global network plant its roots in the northwest. Lakurawa's fighters have reportedly settled in border communities, recruited youths, and imposed strict religious control. Reports indicate they operate with brutal authority, punishing anyone who fails to obey their interpretation of the Islamic law. This expansion has alarmed both Abuja and Washington. Analysts say that much of ISSP's recent success in Nigeria is linked directly to Lakurawa's rise and the growing cooperation with foreign fighters crossing from Niger and Mali. The latest airstrikes specifically targeted Lakurawa-linked camps inside Boni and Tangeza forests of Sokoto state. Border patrols in Niger report seeing terrorists fleeing into the bush following the bombardment. The US military says multiple fatalities were observed. No civilian deaths were reported, although falling debris affected two nearby towns. For Nigeria, this collaboration with Washington signals a new phase in counter-terror operations. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth thanked the Nigerian government for its support and confirmed continued cooperation as extremist threats from the Sahel spread southward. President Bola Tinubu approved the operation after intelligence revealed that the terrorists were planning large-scale attacks inside Nigeria. Nigeria today faces not one but multiple terrorist organizations. For years, the northeast has been dominated by Boko Haram, its splinter faction JAS, and Islamic State West Africa Province or ISWAP. These groups have killed tens of thousands and displaced millions around Lake Chad. Now, ISSP and Lakurawa are pushing from the northwest, and they are adding yet another front to a nation already stretched thin. These conflicts are overlapping and often intertwined with other sources of violence. In several regions, clashes between Christian farming communities and Muslim herders over land and water have led to deadly massacres. Banditry, kidnappings, and ethnic rivalries worsen the situation further. While some fighters specifically target Christians, as cited by Trump, analysts say religion is only one part of a much broader struggle for resources, authority, and survival. In August 2025, gunmen attacked a mosque in northwest Nigeria, killing at least 13. Just a day before the US strike, a suicide bomber detonated inside a mosque in Maiduguri, killing 5 worshippers. To better understand local perspectives, here is what security experts and community leaders are saying.
To eliminate and disengage the Lakurawas, it is a welcome development, but to say that the Lakurawas are ISIS or bandit are ISIS, that is where the challenge is.
His point reflects a growing debate. Who exactly are these terrorists? Some are ideologically tied to ISIS, others are criminal gangs exploiting instability. Many are hybrids, shifting alliances for profit or protection. And this makes counter-terror efforts far more complicated.
So we are grateful with what the US has done. We are grateful with what Nigerian government is trying to do. They should make sure that they work as a team to flush them out wherever they are hiding, so that Christians and Muslims will have peace in Nigeria.
Now, what happens next? The US strikes are a significant show of force, but experts warn that the impact may be limited. UN estimates suggest ISSP has 2,000 to 3,000 fighters spread across vast terrain. Lakurawa, though smaller, can easily recruit replacements from impoverished areas and from the Sahel's endless flow of jihadists. Eliminating a handful of fighters will not dismantle a network that has been expanding for years. Many observers believe the only lasting solution requires not just military action, but long-term investment in local security, governance, and economic opportunity. The Nigerian state struggles with weak presence in remote regions, allowing jihadists and armed groups to fill the vacuum, offering protection, money, and sometimes even basic services. According to experts, unless root causes like poverty, resource competition, and lack of state authority are addressed, terrorism may continue to evolve in new forms even if Lakurawa or ISSP weaken. So the recent US partnership could reshape Nigeria's approach to the conflict. For the first time in years, Washington has taken direct military action inside the country. But as the dust settles in Sokoto's forests, one question remains. Will this mark a turning point in Nigeria's fight against terror, or just be another chapter in a long and difficult war? Only time will tell. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.